The United States Army Rangers of the 75th Ranger Regiment are known for being one of the most lethal light infantry special operation units in the world. Widely recognized by their famous motto, "Rangers lead the way."
Get up, Private Allen! Rangers lead the way! Move!
The U.S. Army Rangers have built a worldwide reputation for their fierceness in battle, and have continually kept up as a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art brute fighting force. Their unique role in special operations has furthered United States objectives for decades, and they've set themselves apart time and time again. But with that said, what exactly is a United States Army Ranger in the 75th Ranger Regiment? What sets apart an Army Ranger from the rest of the Army? What makes them unique from other special operations forces? And what does one have to go through to earn the coveted tan beret? We're going to answer all of those questions for you and much more. This is U.S. Army Rangers. The 75th Ranger Regiment of today can trace its lineage all the way back to the French and Indian War in the mid-1700s. A man named Robert Rogers would stand up informal long-ranging units known as Rogers Rangers, whose devastating quick-strike tactics would inspire informal ranger units up through the Civil War. Almost 200 years later, a modern ranger unit was reborn during the outbreak of World War II, consisting of an elite corps of 500 volunteers. These warriors would see more close-hand combat than any other American soldier during the war. It was during their participation on the D-Day landings that the Rangers gained their famous motto, "Rangers lead the way." After fighting in the Korean and Vietnam Wars, the Army Rangers evolved into the 75th Ranger Regiment as we know it today. They would move on to make a worldwide name for themselves by partaking in several global impacting missions and conflicts, and were called upon to lead the way in the global war on terrorism. Today, the 75th Ranger Regiment serves as the U.S. Army's premier direct action raid force, and one of the most capable and lethal fighting forces the world has ever seen, often relied upon to take on some of the most dangerous missions imaginable. They are a light infantry, which allows them to quickly mobilize and assault wherever they're needed to get the job done. Nobody can bring as much firepower and lethality in a short amount of time like the 75th Ranger Regiment can. Let's just say, if you're the target of a U.S. Army Ranger assault, we wouldn't want to be you when the barrage begins. Army Rangers always have a plan of attack no matter the mission, but what's your plan of attack to stop the data brokers that are selling your personal information online? That's where Delete Me comes in, today's sponsor. What's up guys, I'm Veteran Vinny. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online by data brokers. Data brokers are corporations that collect huge amounts of personally identifiable information on you, like your name, age, birthday, social security number, and even your address. All stuff you really don't want out there in the wrong hands. Being an anonymous channel, we can't risk that type of information being leaked. I mean, look at me. I'm masking my face and my voice. That's why we trust Delete Me to get the job done. It's super easy to use too. All you need to do is sign up and submit your personal info you wish to have removed. The experts over at Delete Me will find and remove that information from the internet and continue to do so every few months so you never have to worry about it. They also provide you with detailed reports so you can see exactly which info was leaked. The best part? If you use our code GENERAL20, you get 20% off whichever plan you select. Just go to joindeleteme.com/general20 to start protecting your personal information today. Links in the description below. Now back to the video. As a lethal, agile, and flexible fighting force, the 75th Ranger Regiment is capable of conducting many complex joint special operations missions. With that said, their three main missions are special operations raids, forcible entry operations, and special reconnaissance. Special operations raids are designed to seize, destroy, or capture enemy goods and locations while delivering maximum surprise and shock. Forcible entry operations can include things such as taking over airfields, and special reconnaissance is essentially gathering intel on the enemy. However, they also have their hand in intelligence, counterintelligence, combat search and rescue, hostage rescue, and counterterrorism. And with all their specialized skills and training, the Rangers get the privilege of actually putting all that training to use. The 75th Ranger Regiment has an extremely high operational tempo, and each battalion is always on a deployment cycle. In fact, in recent history, there's almost always a battalion deployed. At the end of 2021, the Rangers passed over 7,000 days of unbroken combat operations, which is insane. Each battalion is able to deploy within 18 hours of notification, so they are always ready for whatever comes their way. We really can't underscore the op-tempo of the 75th Ranger Regiment enough. There are plenty of long training days, followed by a roughly 3-month deployment, and then it's rinse and repeat. And all while this is going on, each Ranger is held to an extremely high standard. It's not uncommon for Rangers who pass their selection to ultimately be released for standards, or RFS, when they just can't make the cut in daily Ranger life. In other words, Rangers have to earn their place in the regiment every single day. And this brings up an important point. Being an Army Ranger isn't really a job per se, like you'd envision a Navy SEAL or Marine Raider. It actually means that it's a soldier who has passed the Ranger selection process and can work in the units. In other words, there are a multitude of Army jobs, or MOSs, that are inside the 75th Ranger Regiment. There's your infantrymen, medics, cavalry scouts, and intel guys, but there's even cooks and supply guys as well. This is what makes the 75th Ranger Regiment unique from the rest of SOF. Even their support personnel go through the same selection process as those who are boots on ground. It's a very unique culture, which has undoubtedly led to major success. And speaking of selection processes, let's move on to discuss what it takes to become a US Army Ranger. Every soldier who wants to join the 75th Ranger Regiment must get through Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, otherwise known as RASP. RASP comes in two different forms, RASP 1 and RASP 2. RASP 1 is for soldiers between E1 to E5, and RASP 2 is for those E6 and above. You can think of these as the main filter to seeing who has what it takes to endure life in the regiment. Let's start with RASP 1. RASP 1 is an 8-week course that trains candidates in the basic skills and tactics required to operate as Army Rangers. There's loads of physical and mental toughness training, land navigation, rucks, and candidates are placed in scenarios where they will be judged on their character and mental grit. RASP 2 is a 3-week course, which assesses the suitability of mid and senior grade leaders for assignment to the regiment, and teaches them the operational techniques and standards of the Ranger Regiment. There will still be lots of PT and various training exercises, however, there's more of a focus on making sure that they can be a good leader in the regiment, more so than what's looked for in RASP 1. If you enjoy our content and want to support the channel, please help us reach our goal of 5,000 Facebook followers. If you don't have a Facebook but still want to support us, please consider contributing to us on Patreon, where we have some pretty cool benefits. The links to these will be in the description and pinned comment below, or scan the QR codes on screen. When soldiers complete RASP 1 or 2, they receive the Tan Beret and Ranger Scroll. The Ranger Scroll is different from the Ranger Tab, which is a very important distinction to know. Simply put, anyone from the US Army can earn the Ranger Tab without being in the 75th Ranger Regiment by attending a course known as Ranger School. Ranger School is a challenging leadership course that trains soldiers on how to lead on difficult missions. Completing Ranger School doesn't make a soldier a bona fide Army Ranger, however, like those who have the Ranger Scroll. Despite that, many Army Rangers in the 75th will eventually move on to get the Ranger Tab, which means that they are scrolled and tabbed. Aside from a soldier's initial basic and MOS training, the pipeline to get into the 75th Ranger Regiment is pretty short compared to other special operations career fields. It's safe to say that the Rangers are pretty much the only special operations force that can train you up to speed and send you to the battlefield within a year of starting basic training. And as we've already touched on before, the training never stops for the Rangers. Depending on their MOS, there are a wide range of schools and training opportunities for them to sharpen their skills in the regiment. Rangers can go to SEER School, Sniper School, Air Assault School, Free Fall, Combat Diver, the Special Operations Combat Medic course, and Jungle, Mountain, and Arctic Warfare schools. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The US Army Rangers are badass enough as is, but did you know that they have a Tier 1 unit embedded within them? That's right, they're known as the Regimental Reconnaissance Company. These Tier 1 operators mostly consist of Army Rangers who took their special operations expertise and capabilities to the next level and support missions in JSOC. But what exactly separates a Tier 1 Ranger from a Tier 2 Ranger? Well, lucky for you, we cover that in detail in our Rangers vs RRC video, which is a must watch. Scan the QR code on screen or go to the link in the description below, along with our social media accounts. Well, that is the down and dirty of the US Army Rangers. If you learned something from this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. As always, thank you for watching. Do you even want to be here? A special thank you to all of our supporters in our Patreon and YouTube membership. If you'd like to be featured in our videos, consider joining and go check out the links in our description below. Your contribution is greatly appreciated and will help us create more great content.
All your friends are subscribing to General Discharge and you don't even want to be here.